Hey everybody, I hope you're doing okay. What I'm showing you right here is the heaven-Earth mirror that exists between the Orion Nebula and the planet Earth. You're going to notice in the center of these circles here, the center of the circle is actually at the base of the Nile Delta. And the center of the circle here is at the base of the trapezium of the Orion Nebula. Now, in order for this to work, the Orion Nebula, for it to be a perfect mirror and locked on, it has to be directly south in the sky. So it has to be at its highest point in the sky. At that point in time, these are mirrors, just like we see right here. And the waterways that we see between the land masses, we can see evidence of that mirror right here. But the mirror is really easy to see when you get really close up to the Nile Delta. Now this is not just something that is just pulled out of thin air. If you guys have been following some of the stuff I've been doing, this mirror is actually mentioned by the Mayans. It's actually mentioned in the Zohar. It's mentioned in the Vision of Hermes. It's mentioned everywhere. The mirror that exists, and the reason why all these Orion correlations are all over the planet Earth, is because they were trying to show us the mirror that exists between heaven and earth. So what I found is, and you can go watch my other videos and everything, all of this has been proved. I don't want to do it all over again. What I want to show you though is I want to show you, and this is kind of what I had used to shown you a long time ago. You take a look at the Nile Delta, which is the triangle that's in the waters, and this is the triangle in the heavens right here, which is the trapezium. And we can see evidence of the same patterns that exist on both land and in the nebula. Really a very interesting thing here. But this right here is what I showed you previously, but I found an interesting tool that I just wanted to share with you guys today. That allowed me to show the transition a little bit easier. So this is the Nile Delta. There are certain places on here that you can take a look at, like if you take a look at this area right here, this area right here, and this area right over here on the right hand side, and then you take a look at the overall pattern of the light versus the dark that follows this area all the way around. Okay, so what we're going to do is I found a way to take this particular image right here, this green one, and there's a specific tool that allows me to only retain the light parts. So what I did was I took this, I duplicated it, and then I changed it to black and white. And then I chose to only retain the light parts of it. So as you can see, when we take a look at this thing right here, it's only retaining the light parts. Now what this allows me to be able to do is it allows us to really clearly see that pattern, that overall pattern that follows this specific pattern that goes all the way around, just like the trapezium does. So if I take that off, you can see the trapezium does the same thing. We can follow our eyes all the way down. This light area comes up and back over and then back up again. And we can see that that covers the same area. Really neat tool. Okay, so now what I want to show you then are these key areas. Now this right here is the neatest part, I think, about this whole thing. And I don't really know what this means as far as physics goes or metaphysically or whatever we're talking here, but if you see, these are actually land grids made by man. You see the circles and the squares. These are actually grids made by man. So we have this pattern right here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the green one off and leave the black and white one. And you can see that pattern still exists right here. But now we're going to take that off, and the transition is a lot easier to see now by doing it this way. So now if we take a look at the trapezium, you can see this thing right here in the trapezium. Now we're going to come down here. We're going to take a look at this spot right here. Another area with grids you can see that are made by man, right? Not the leaf matching a tree. And we're going to take off the green area, but we're still showing the black and white and the land area. So now we're going to go ahead and toggle that back and forth, and you can see the impressions inside the trapezium. And come down here, and you can see that the land follows this hook and comes back up again. So you can see the green area, the pattern that it follows. Okay, we'll take that off. Now you can see the white area, which is the residue left of it. And then there is the trapezium. Follows the same pattern that we see with the green area. It's the light pink versus the dark pink. And then we have this other image up here. This large thing right here, and it has this dip in the middle. And so if we take a look at here's that dip that's in the middle right here, and you can see it's kind of slanted. Okay, so we're going to take off the green. So there's our residue left, and we'll just flip back and forth between that and the nebula. So you can see those spots that I showed you, and you can see the overall shape of the trapezium versus the delta. This is the mirror, but it actually extends all the way out, like I showed you, to all of planet Earth. But I thought I would show you this interesting tool that we have here. It allows us to actually see the outline much easier and the transitions much easier between these patterns that show up in the exact same places on the Nile Delta and in the trapezium. And then I think I have one area or one picture I created. It's kind of half done, but I'll show it to you anyway. So if we take a look at these things, we can see this same peg looking thing right here. Here's our transition piece, and here's the nebula. Here's this area right here, transition, nebula, and this area over here. And if we want to find them over here, we go straight down. Right here, right here, right here for this one. Right here, right here. This one, and this one. You can see the hook of the green versus the brown right here. And then you can also see the residue of it right here. And then you can see all the nebula follows the same curve. The same curves that you see of the land right here is right here and is right here. And then our last one right here is this thing with the dip in the middle, and you can see that it exists on this side as well. So what this means physically, I have no idea, but it's definitely apparent. And what it is it's this kind of impressionistic on the nebula side. And the way the mysteries actually describe it is it describes that the Earth is more of a solidified, crystallized version of this nebulous area. So this is more of a nebulous, spiritual type area, and this is the crystallized Earth area. And this is the area that the Egyptians have the pyramids to show us the mirror that exists between the heaven and the earth. And the same mirror that they're pointing to is the Orion Nebula, which is the same mirror that the Mayans were pointing to and all these other guys are pointing to. But the strangest thing is that these areas, these grids that are actually made by man, especially this one up here, is very apparent. This pattern that you see right here is very obvious that it's being repeated all the way through. These others, you can see that the same angles that exist down here. It's kind of impressionistic. It's almost like a bruise. And this is where it crystallizes right here. Anyways, I thought you guys would think that was interesting. It was just another tool to show you guys how this mirror exists. And I'll put more out on it, but there's a video I have in my recent uploads. Look for it. It's called Malkuth is Kether in Another Manner. And I go into the detail and show you all of the cultures that point to this area. So anyways, very interesting. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you soon.